and some of the biggest, heaviest hitters in the USRA ranks all set to roll off. Bill Roberts Chevrolet Pace Truck off of turn number 2. Throughout the entire week, we saw 95 B-Mods make their way in, and we have finally whittled it down to the 32 best. Here's how the starting grid will look. On the pole from just literally 2 blocks away, it's the Wheatland Outlaw. Mike Striegel in the 17S with 2 wins on the season. Dalton Ragsdale out of Muskogee, Oklahoma will be smack dab in the middle. He's the 2021 champ at Outlaw. And then Cody King, he was the 21 champ at Creek County. He will start in 3rd.
Row number 2 from Hermitage, Missouri, the 1B car, that's Bobby Williams. To his outside, the 94C, JT Carroll from Camdenton, Missouri. Shadron Turner, St. Joseph, Missouri driver in the 56 finds himself on that outside row.
J.C. Morton was your 2016 national champion in the USRA. He will start inside row number 3. Tim Meaton, the B-Mod champ at I-35, starts in the middle, and Ben Modry in the 85 will start in P9.
Some heavy hitters in row number 4 on the inside from Springfield, Missouri. In the 66, that's the Gia Monster, Ryan Gilmore. And to his outside, Dayton Pursley from Hermitage, Missouri, the 10P. And then from Lebanon, Missouri, the J2, that's Chris Jackson.
Brandon Hare, a 2-time USRA B-Mod national champion, will start back in 13th. Caden Stacy in the middle, and John Sheets in the 8S will start in 15th.
Row number 6 finds the Z28, Randy Zimmerman from Fort Scott, Kansas. To his outside, Smoke, Joe Chisholm from Osage in the 25, and the 5 of Reese Solander from Emporia, Kansas.
In row 7, Kyle Slater out of Muskogee, Oklahoma in the 19K. Mitchell Franklin, a winner here at Lucas Oil Speedway in the F1. And Cody Brill is out of Bate City, Missouri in the 96.
Michael Taylor III in 6T. Terry Schultz in the 90, and Trevor Fitz in the 18B make up row 8.
Get back to the drivers that had to work their way through the alphabet as Henry Chambers, Jacob Hodges, and Andy Bryant all sit back in row number 9.
Row number 10 finds Robbie Ewing in the 32, Tyler Kidwell in the 54, and the 99T, Eric Turner.
And then on that final row, a couple of provisionals making their way in. Dan Hovden out of Decorah, Iowa in the 16D, and Duke Erickson, he is out of Sioux Falls, South Dakota in the 57. Fireworks here at Lucas Oil Speedway. Sean Hodder and the folks at AM Pyrotechnics always come in for our biggest shows. The Show Me 100, the USRA Nationals, the USMTS, as well as our Thursday Night Thunder Fireworks Show. Put on one of the best shows you're going to find anywhere in the Midwest. And he's going to blow some stuff up throughout the evening. Only 3 races left. We narrow down to the B-Mods, who... This is the first of 3 classes that we'll have, and we'll set the scene on how all of this developed. The first 3 rows, the top 9 starters, all won races through preliminary events. Row 4, 5, and 6 were all drivers that came in second in the 9 preliminary races. Usually you'll do a redraw. You'll go back in, draw out of the hat to find out where you're going to start. Since we have this go-kart track back behind us, instead of doing it that way, they put everybody in a go-kart, put water on the track, put soap down on the track, make it nice and slimy. Even some of the features that we had in there, they ran the opposite direction. They had to turn right instead of turning left. So how they fared in those events determined how the first 6 rows all got started. And with that, Mike Striegel back at Wheatland. It's been over 2 years since he ran here at the Diamond Dirt Tracks. He's on the pole. We're off and running here for the B-Mods.
Look at that. Striegel gets that thing cocked down into turn number 1 and down the back chute. Going to lead the way. The 22R, Dalton Ragsdale right in tow, and then up top, Cody King working the high side as we're shuffling them through the corners. But the Wheatland Outlaw, Mike Striegel, going to lead lap number 1.
Mike Striegel, we call him the Wheatland Outlaw when he's behind the wheel. Through our weekly racing series here at Lucas Oil Speedway, he's up on the flagman. He has turned into the starter here at the Diamond Dirt Tracks. His nickname up on the starter stand is Magic Mike. We'll see if he can pull off some magic here tonight as he's back behind the the wheel, but Jake Hodges has some issues in the 14. That was over in turn number 3. He's able to get back underway. We stay green, and the challenge is on for the top spot. Cody King in the 510 looks high. Now he looks down low. Mike Striegel is under fire as Cody King's on the rampage.
Mike Striegel playing a little bit of defense back there, and then take a look who's coming on the inside. That 18C J.C. Morton, that blue new Bloodline race car by Terry Phillips down on the bottom side, but Striegel going to pull away a little bit from Cody King and Morton.
Asked JC down in the pits earlier on today, since he's made the change from the Allen chassis to the Bloodline, is there a big difference? He said yes, there is a big learning curve as the battle for second is on. Cody King to the top side, JC Morton to the inside, and Mike Striegel has been able to hold on to that top spot. Whenever JC got behind the wheel of this B-Mod, and I asked Terry, I saw him down in the pits earlier, I'm like, how many of these B-Mods have you spit out? He said, I made one. It's down in Muskogee, Oklahoma. This one right here was actually Dylan McCowan's modified that he ran a few times this year. He has now converted that over to a B-Mod, given the keys over to J.C. Morton, a past national champion. As this entire mess, we start to see everybody start to work their way to the front, including the Gila Monster. That's Ryan Gilmore. To the inside, Chris Jackson, the J2, and Kyle Slater in the 19. This is all a battle for 4th, 5th, and 6th.
What a battle it is. There's a little bit of history going on between some of those drivers as Slater works the bottom. Gilmore up top with Jackson tucking in. Slater, the only one of those guys working the bottom right now as the yellow flag comes out.
Boone's Barbecue caution in the air here at Lucas Oil Speedway. As over in turn number 2, it's the 16. That was one of the
Dan Hovden
provisionals
from Decorah,
that came
Iowa.
in. He started all the way back in row 11. And the Decorah, Iowa native Easy D did not have an easy turn 2. The 18-time winner on the season brings out the caution. For the first time, it has been all Mike Striegel. The return of the Wheatland Outlaw to Lucas Oil Speedway. He's led it throughout as the caution falls here at the Diamond of Dirt Tracks.
I'll tell you what, Mike Striegel got to flag these races at the go-karts earlier in the day, and he thought he was going to get off scot-free without having to flag for this year at the USRA Nationals, and Staley put him to work down at the go-kart track.
I think he already had the flags all tucked away in the back closet. He thought his flagging days were done.
He actually just had them in his back pocket. He just pulled them out.
So Mike Striegel, the Wheatland Outlaw, has led all 7 laps here at Lucas Oil Speedway. This has been a thrill ride for Mike. He, again, literally lives a couple of blocks away from here. He's become the flagman here at Lucas Oil Speedway. On off nights or on Fridays, he goes and runs at some other places. This is a return home for him as we're back to racing action. Cody King and J.C. Morton stacked side by side. Throughout the week, we had a number of guest commentators as Terry Schultz hits the outside retaining wall. That's over in turn number 4, so they will all go back out, tend to him, stack him and repack him, as there's also some debris out on the track as well. That's a hard hit for the Silver Bullet.
He actually didn't even hit the wall. He just came to a stop, and I don't know if it was because of the debris in the corner or not. Maybe he was trying to tell us something, but I was watching. He was toward the back, went up high, stopped, and back going. And I think it is because of the bumper that was laying in the corner.
May have been it. I thought the bumper was his bumper,
yeah.
But evidently not.
No, he's still got his on the back.
Yeah, and he's got the one on the front. So he was evidently just pointing some things out. Back to Mike Striegel to hit on this. Throughout the week, we've had some guest commentators come in for our preliminary races, and Mike came in and said, you know, everybody seems to think I have a home field advantage because I flag here. He says, I don't have a home field advantage because I haven't raced here in 2 years, but he won a championship here. He's won 102 races over his racing career, so he's not rusty. I wouldn't say he's a finely oiled, well-tuned machine, but he is back behind the wheel, and he has given that 17 one heck of a ride here on Nationals weekend.
Cody King giving that car a ride up on the top side as he works right behind him. But take a look, here comes that Bloodline race car, J.C. Morton. He's battling back, but the caution flag going to come out as we have carnage in the bottom of turn number 4.
Looks like Robbie Ewing involved in that. Dayton Pursley in the 18 also of Trevor Fitz. I believe that's who that is.
You are correct, the 18B from Camillo, California.
So after the first 7 laps were all clicked away, Mike Striegel may have survived a scare there as J.C. Morton was hard on the charge. J.C., an 8-time winner this year, picking up 4 wins at Arrowhead. He also claimed the championship there as the window net down from Trevor Fitz's ride. Trevor, a 4-time winner in an IMCA modified. Won at Merced, Ventura, Verona, and Bakersfield, all in the California area. Robbie Ewing back out on the track in that 32. For Robbie, he was the winner 3 times at Bolivar. Claimed the championship just south of Wheatland down at the Bolivar Raceway this season.
Here we got our replay coming up at you. Ooh.
Again, just all got wadded up and parked it on the infield.
Dayton Pursley, I believe, was the one who went around on the front end of that deal.
And for Dayton Pursley, the Hermitage, Missouri native, he lives just down the road. A 2-time winner this year, picked up the win at Midway. Also picked up his first win at Lucas Oil Speedway. He was a champion at Midway back in 2021. And he really went through a learning curve, Brian, as he was on the crew for Earl Pearson Jr.
That's a good one.
Got to be on the crew with Tony Jackson Jr.
Another good one.
While those are late model rides, you can't help but think, just seeing the day-to-day routine, what it takes to put a car on the track, what it takes to compete and pick the brains of those guys. Had to be a great learning curve for Dayton Pursley to use every bit of tool and advisement he can to improve his racing career.
Those late model guys have the best technology. They know how to set up the cars the best. They're out on tour, running across the country, so that is invaluable experience that Pursley learned while he was there, and I'm glad to see that it can transpire over too, right here at the Lucas Oil Speedway and wherever he runs.
Everybody bundled up. We started out the week with very pleasant temperatures, got up around the 80-degree mark, but since then we've cooled down. After all, it is October.
That's right.
Supposed to have cooler temperatures as Mike Striegel again, front row all to his own. In 3 and 4, dive bombs down to the inside of turn 4. He is back underway, and J.C. Morton, who got a great start from the inside the time previous, now chooses to go to the outside. J.C. Morton will rim ride around the top side, see if he can make something work up on the cushion.
Oh, man, as he got that 18 working up on the top side, Mike Striegel going to shut the door on him, though, as they work down into turn 1 and 2. Striegel on the bottom, Morton upstairs. A heavyweight battle up front. Oh, lifting the skirt. J.C. Morton taking a peek underneath the doctor's coat of the 17 there as Striegel holds on to the race lead.
And I think J.C. knew that was coming. He had gotten up in front of him completely. There was nose-to-tail contact, and now JC's trying to do something different, trying to find another way to get around Mike Striegel, as that's the battle up in the front spot. Another couple of drivers now in 3rd and 4th. That's Ryan Gilmore and Chris Jackson, as Cody King is off the pace. He is up around the top side of the track. Something is broken on the 510. He will get off of the top side, go down to the inside, and get back under power as we stay green. And now J.C. Morton back to work to the inside of Striegel. Whoa. Right alongside him as they're wheel-to-wheel.
Well, that is where J.C. Morton wanted to get, but Striegel giving her the berries, taking her up to the top side and back to the race lead. I'm telling you, Striegel's doing a good job, and now Gilmore down to the inside.
Ryan Gilmore in the 66. He's a past national winner here at Lucas Oil Speedway and in the USRA. He won the Nationals last year, and he was a champion just a few years ago, and now it's a 4-car battle.
Holy
Mitchell
cow.
Franklin has gotten up into the mix.
Mitchell Franklin started middle of the 7th row, and he is up into the top 4. That F1 is flying, and now we got a new race leader. J.C. Morton, the Bloodline race car, to the race lead.
New race leader in Morton. Mitchell Franklin now plows up the track where he had all sorts of momentum. He now loses some spots. We saw Chris Jackson up into the mix. He now has set anchor. Something is broken on the J2. He is falling back down through the field as Mike Striegel back to the bottom of the track. J.C. Morton continues to have his hands full with the Outlaw.
J.C. Morton to the race lead. We were talking about Mitchell Franklin. Here comes John Sheets up on the top side of the speedway as well. You'll see that red 8 pop into your screen. He's working the top side.
Jake Hodges off the track, and now Ryan Gilmore to the inside of Striegel. Now J.C. Morton, now that he's gotten a little bit of breathing room, he is going to start to pull away. Nearly a second advantage over Mike Striegel as the side-by-side battle is really taking a toll on the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th place cars as John Sheets is now up into 5th.
Those two got red cars, the F1 and the 8S. They started deep in the field back in the 6th and 7th row, or 5th and 6th row. Those guys making their way up front. Mitchell Franklin now going to work by the bottom side of Mike Striegel as J.C. Morton's out front. But here comes John Sheets right on the Wheatland Outlaws tail as well.
Okay, so John Sheets, the Super 8, at one point in time, he had won a race here in one division or another for 4 or 5 straight years. He has shifted over to a J2 chassis, still has that Eagle power plant. He's a 9-time winner, and now he is somewhat off the pace as Kyle Slater in the 19 looks inside of him. For Kyle, he's a 15-time winner this year. He's won at Rocket, won at Monette, Thunderbird, Arrowhead, Tri-State, a variety of tracks that he's picked up wins at.
Slater has picked up a lot of positions in this race as well. Shadron Turner in that mix as well. Dalton Ragsdale, that's a whole gaggle battling back there.
Dan Hovden has picked up 21 spots. Duke Erickson 20. Mitchell Franklin 17. As the running order continues to be J.C. Morton now by a 2.5 over Ryan Gilmore.
J.C. Morton tiptoeing around on the bottom side of the speedway. Ryan Gilmore as well as Mitchell Franklin, those cars, as you see Schultz take it off the track in the 90.
So Gilmore back in 2nd. We talked about his accolades. Mitchell Franklin seems like he is starting to shine on some of these bigger stages. A couple years ago, whenever the Nationals came here for the very first time, the Dove Darling out of Camden riding along in 3rd right now was just another competitor. That F1 was about a top 5 car, and that was about it. But then the Nationals came around, and he started to really shine as the caution comes out. Over in turn number 4 is where a car goes up and slaps the wall. Kyle Slater in the 19 brings out the Boone's Barbecue caution.
No wall hit again. I think he just went up there with a flat right front tire, probably going to head to the pits, try to throw some new shoes on that bad boy.
J.C. Morton over Ryan Gilmore. Mitchell Franklin in 3rd, your top 3. It's been a heck of a race as now the 19 of Kyle Slater goes off the track. His night is done, but it's been all J.C. Morton. He leads the pack here at the Nationals.
And I do believe the right front went flat, as he is going to go to the pits, get that change to come back out.
Tough break for JT Carroll in that 94. Hobby Time Motorsports safety crew pushing him off of the track. The rookie driver in a B-Mod picked up a win earlier on in the year, picked up his 2nd win here at Lucas Oil Speedway this week in one of the preliminary races. JT Carroll gets pushed off. Activity going on in the hot pit as well. See if Kyle Slater can get back out. They get that flat tire taken care of, and he is back out on the track. Caution lights getting ready to be turned off. Kyle Slater got that flat tire fixed. That's what brought the caution out. So the 19K will have to go all the way back to the very tail end. As J.C. Morton, what a battle it has been. Some heavy hitters. Morton, a past national champion. Ryan Gilmore, a past national champion. Shadron Turner, he has just been on a tear this year. As we have completed 23 laps, 3:35 will make the distance for the B-Mods.
Oh, Mitchell Franklin going down to the inside, taking a peek on the inside of J.C. Morton, but not enough to get it done that time by Morton. Out to the race lead again as Gilmore now looking to the inside of Franklin. John Sheets in the picture. Shadron Turner coming on as well late in this one.
Shadron Turner, that is, out of St. Joseph, Missouri, 26 wins. He finished third in the national standings, came into this week third in the national standings, and he is third in that line of cars right behind Mike Striegel. Dalton Ragsdale, another Allen Autosports chassis behind him in the 22. He picked up a feature win in one of the preliminary races. He's right on the back bumper of Shadron, goes middle of the track, and there's Easy D. Dan Hovden started all the way back in row 11. That may not sound by much, but you got to take into consideration we were 3 wide.
Yeah.
So you're all the way back in the 30s whenever you started this race.
Next to last he started in this one, and he is making some headway. Look at that battle right there. Lots of guys vying for some position here. Mitchell Franklin now sliding up in front of Ryan Gilmore. Brandon Hare Nation working in front of Turner, Dan Hovden, and then we've got the 22 of Dalton Ragsdale in the picture as well.
There's some good-looking cars out there, but that 99, that MAV TV sponsored ride of Eric Turner looks pretty sporty to the inside of Dan Hovden.
Now Shadron Turner going to take a look to the inside of John Sheets. Those guys are, I'll tell you what, that next pack, Brandon Hare and Dan Hovden, they're catching up to Shadron Turner and John Sheets. Mike Striegel right there as well. Now you see Brandon Hare tiptoeing. But J.C. Morton out front, he's rim riding around. Now Mitchell Franklin closes that gap a little bit.
Tell you, Mitchell Franklin has extremely good car control. This is a Franklin chassis. He and his dad, Josh, build these cars. There's quite a few Franklins out there around this area. Allen chassis, J2s have really kind of dominated. Hughes chassis as well, but this is a very small operation that they put out, but they put together some fantastic machines. And Josh Franklin having the run of his year. Yeah, he did win here at Lucas Oil Speedway earlier on this season, but this is by far the best run he's got. He's got a good run looking to the inside of JC with 4 laps to go.
He kind of maybe went too soon there. J.C. Morton now going to try to protect the bottom. We'll see if Franklin can close that back up and see if he can get something done. Morton out front. The gap now narrows again. This is where he's got to make his move as Morton goes to the top side. Franklin on the bottom.
Last 3 laps, Franklin has ran faster lap times than J.C. Morton. They'll get the 2 to go this time by. JC knows he's there. He goes down, tries to pinch Mitchell down a little bit, take his line away. JC needs to run some error-free laps up around the top side of the track. It's a razor's edge up there. You jump the cushion. We've seen it already tonight. You can really spoil your day. That was a great turn for JC through 3 and 4. He's going to gap Mitchell, gain a half a second on him on that lap. For J.C. Morton, the first year the Nationals came to Lucas Oil Speedway, he won the Nationals here at the Diamond of Dirt tracks. 2 short years later, J.C. will do it again. Morton is the king of the hill here at the Diamond of Dirt tracks. J.C. Morton, a 1.1 second win over Mitchell Franklin. Ryan Gilmore, a 3rd place podium finish for the Gila Monsters. He comes home in 3rd. Shadron Turner in 4th. Mike Striegel started on the pole, able to salvage a top 5 finish. Brandon Hare, Eric Turner, John Sheets, Dan Hovden, who started all the way back inside row 11. He will come home in 9th, and Dalton Ragsdale wraps up your top 10.